this like whole housing issue is like a big issue, particularly how. So I was going to make this video outside, but someone just honked at me, so we're going to do it inside. So this is going to be a part 2 to my last video on why I refuse to rent an apartment. I came up with a few more things that I'm going to share in this video. But first off, I want to just say thank you all for the views in my last video. It's like the first video of mine to do well in a while. So thank you all for that. So I want to talk about furnitures. Specifically, most apartments don't come with furnitures. So if I were to get an apartment, I would have to go spend money to buy the furnitures. Or there are like ways to get furnitures for free on like Facebook Marketplace or just people leaving furnitures on the side of the road. This is because these days people have so much stuff that they want to get rid of some stuff to make room. So if you are like willing to go pick up someone's furnitures, they may just give it to you for free because it's like big and bulky. But even if I were to get free furnitures, I would still have to deal with the hassle of moving the furnitures. So potentially having to spend money to rent a truck, also the time and planning to move the furnitures into the apartment. I mentioned furnitures because of all the rooms I rented, they all came with furnitures. They were all furnished with at least a bed, a table, and a chair, which is like all I need. The only exception is my last place, which didn't come with a bed, so I slept on the floor for 3 months, which was not comfortable, but I would rather do that than like move furnitures. And then on top of like the furnitures in the room, all the rooms I rented so far, they came with like a refrigerator too. So they were mostly shared with other people, but it's nice just to have the stuff I need there so I don't have to buy it or move it myself. And also as a minimalist, when it comes time to move out, it's so much easier to move with no furnitures. So I don't own any furniture. I don't own any furnitures myself. I just have like my stuff, which all fits into my car. So I can literally like move out in 30 minutes to pack up and just put everything to my car. Then I can move out. So for me, moving is like it's like really easy, and for me, moving is like a lot easier than most people, just because I don't have much stuff and I have no furnitures. So that's definitely really important to me to be able to move somewhere, have all the furnitures I need, and then when I move out, I just move out. It's so easy. Now, I do see there are some apartments where they do come with furniture, so it's like furnished. The only problem is that the ones I saw, if I want to get like a furnished apartment, I have to pay like an extra $1,000 per month for rent. So that's like spending $1,000 a month just to borrow furniture, which if you ask me, that's like a really bad deal on top of already very expensive rent. So next thing I want to talk about is deposits. So when you rent an apartment or even like a room, like the way I do it, you do have to put down deposit on top of like your rent. So I personally do not have any experience with like getting deposit back from apartments just because I never got to the point of like moving out of an apartment and dealing with the deposit and that sort of thing. But I have read reviews online where people talk about how when they move out of a particular apartment, even though they kept the whole place really clean, in the same condition or even better than when they first moved in, the apartment companies still find an excuse or a way to like keep people's deposit. So since that wasn't like my experience, since that's not my experience, I do not know 100% of the facts. I'm just going based off of what I read on the reviews. But it's just like really disturbing to like read that kind of story. It's like if I were to rent an apartment and I keep the place in the same condition as when I moved in, I would want all my deposit back. Compare that to all the rooms I rented so far. I got all my I've been able to get all my deposit back. The only exception is I had two places where before I moved in, the landlord had told me like when I do move out, they will keep a small amount of the deposit as a cleaning fee. So with the exception of the cleaning fee, that's of those two places that were mentioned up front, I've been able to get all my deposit back. I've been able to get all my deposit back. So which is like really amazing. So then another thing I want to talk about is flexibility. So I touched on this in the last video, which is about like a lot of the rooms that people rent out, they're willing to do like a short-term lease. So let's say a 3 month lease or like months to months. Um, or what a lot of people will do is they will start off with like a 3 month lease or maybe a 6 month lease, and then after that it just becomes months to months. So that allows you to move out in short notice, which like that's really important to me. That's I did mention that in the last video. I want to be able to live somewhere where I can move out on short notice and not be tied into a lease long term. So something I thought about is in life there may be different situations where you have plans to go away for like let's say a month, 2 months, maybe you're going to be staying with friends, family, or somewhere else. If you have like a 1 year apartment lease, even if you're gone like for a month or 2 months in the middle, you're still going to have to pay for the apartment whether you're in there or not. It's the same thing with a room where even if you're not living there for a month, you and then you're still going to have to pay for the room unless you move out. So then this got me thinking like, wait, um, something that can be done when I rent rooms and I've done this before. It's like if if I know I'm going to be gone for a certain amount of time and I don't want to be paying rent at the room, I can just simply move out and then go away for however long I need to, and then whenever I come back, just find another room. So this gives me a flexibility of a situation where it's like I can if I know I'm going to be gone for a while, I can get rid of the room and then just find another one when I do come back. Now this is not going to be viable. This is not going to be viable in all cases, depending on how long I'm going to be gone and also depending on the room, right? If it's like a really nice room for really cheap, I may decide just to keep paying rent there anyways because I want to keep it. But at least I do have the option, especially for places with like month to month rent, to like get rid of a place and then find a new one when I do come back. So that's like another thing I want to talk about. Um, but I've just been thinking in the last few days, it's like this housing problem is like really big. Um, so most people cannot afford to buy a place. So then as a result, people have to rent. And because like housing is so expensive and a lot of people still want to get their own place, which is like usually an apartment. That's like one of the reasons why apartment can do what they do. They can charge as much as they want and require 1 year leases. So it's definitely a big problem with that doesn't have a simple solution. Um, but then that's why like a lot of people are turning to alternative ways of living. So instead of getting an apartment, I go rent a room. And for some people, they may even think renting rooms it can get expensive depending on the area. And some people are living in their vehicles, which can sound like if you tell someone that's an older generation that you're going to live in a car, they're going to be like, oh, why are you doing that? It's so unsafe, like blah blah blah. But it's like the truth is, in this economy with housing being this expensive, we have to get creative in some cases. That's going to be it for this video. If you're still here, thank you for watching. I appreciate all the views and the support, and I'll see you all in the next one.